Hello and welcome. My name is Vivian Moon and this is Key of Wisdom Tarot. For the full moon in Capricorn, this is a pick a card. And we're going to start off with some cards from the Reiki Oracle deck, followed by some tarot. So, take a moment to tap in to this wonderful full moon in Capricorn energy. Though challenging it may be, it is a time of growth, empowerment, and even if you may feel slightly melancholy, you may feel a deepening of meaning within that transcends what you thought you knew about life, what you thought you knew about yourself, and letting the truth reign supreme over any illusion. So which is your pile? 1, 2, or 3? Go ahead and pick. The timestamps will be in the description, and I will see you in your reading. Welcome to your reading, pile 1. It was 1:10 on the clock as I started. And for me, 10 has the energetic essence of the Wheel of Fortune. And when I said that, I saw 1, 2, 3 on the timer. You might realize that you're making progress, but it could feel like you're having ups and downs, right? Expansion, contraction. The meaning of this stone here, this is a found one, is it's kind of like a container for something else. To me, I always use it as like a little stand for another stone. So you might be opening for something to come in, or for creation to exist within yourself. Gosh, like a fly was buzzing past my head and I lost what I was saying. So I feel like sometimes you may feel distracted from what it is that you truly want to bring to the world. So you're kind of like waiting with an open hand to receive from source the meaning of what it is you're meant to do in this life, what it is you're meant to be known for, perhaps. And you may be opening to being willing to be seen. Spirit says, don't put that away yet. There's additional meaning. It's kind of okay. It's also kind of shaped like a tooth. I'm getting the expression, I cut my teeth here and there. It's like your experiences have prepared you, is what you need to know. Spirit is saying, look, everything that you already know how to do, everything that you're already good at is what's going to lead you on your path. I love that. Thank you, Spirit. So we have 3 cards representing your past, present, and future. Past, loving touch. Okay, so mother and child could be a theme right now. We did just have the new moon in Cancer. So you could be remothering, reparenting yourself. You could be deepening to a greater level of nourishment and love than you've felt before. But this is something you've been doing for a while, right? So what's that present here? Word spirit. Yeah, it's like you're expressing this. And there could be others involved, right? It could be creative too at some point. And so it's almost like whatever your purpose is going to be found in the space of experimentation and play. And play doesn't mean that you don't have any discipline. That's part of reparenting. You're like, okay, yeah, I'll play with it. And then I'll make something of it. Then I'll expand upon it. I'll make a discipline out of it, right? Though I do feel a slight amount of resistance around that. So let me sprinkle a little magic on that. You don't have to resist discipline because it can actually feel really good to stay on track, so long as you are the one who is the keeper of that, the keeper of the keys. In the future, Spirit plans to show you in a very exciting way what your purpose is all about. Dancing with the dragon might mean, you have a potent and powerful and intense energy. At least deep inside you, it wants to come out. But in the past, you may have felt like you needed to take care of others or that you needed to be cared for. That, in order for this to come out is what I'm getting. And this is, the codependency is turning into interdependence. right? And this is kind of radical self-actualization I'm seeing. And so we're going to look at the last card, which is representing you, okay, in this spread. Praying. You may be seeing yourself as kind of like an empty vessel, or you may even be seeing yourself as a temple. Like you could have a deeply spiritual vision of who you are. You see yourself as someone who may even be a guide, but you may also feel a need for guidance. I'm just seeing a circle of people here. You want to be a facilitator, get people together. You want to create some kind of group. And you want for there to be loving touch, as in like, maybe not touching each other necessarily, but intimacy. You want to hold hands or to, you know, to be held in sacred space. 555 when I said that. There's a change coming around that. There's a change coming around the way that you interact with others. And that's coming through whatever healing you're experiencing right now. It might kind of become more intense. And this isn't a bad thing. Spirit is saying you can handle that. You can handle the intensity of it. Okay? So let's put these things up here so that we don't forget. Okay? And Spirit is saying to leave this here. All right. We're going to be using the 5 element spread, unless Spirit is telling you to use a different spread. No, we're using the 5 elements. This is air. Okay, so this is what's on your mind. It's what you may want to express, or what you've been mulling over, what you've been thinking about here. It says word spirit, so this might be what you want to say right now. Ooh. You want to talk about all the work that you've done. You want to talk about work that you're going to do. You want to focus on the details and the refinement of that. Very Saturnian energy, but it's an elevated Saturnian energy. Okay? Because it's all about responsibility. You're ready to put in the work. And that's a very exciting thing for you, because you may have felt sort of directionless. They're saying these two, for which element, Spirit? They're saying this is water. Ooh, interesting. So we have Queen of Wands and King of Wands. Harmony and balance within the self. The lion and the lamb. That's actually a ram. Feeling the intensity, Aries-Leo pair kind of energy here. Or feminine, masculine. Within your sense of self. Ooh. You could be a fire sign, or you could have a fire moon, since this is the water element. It seems that you're inspired. It seems that you're driven. It feels like you could be doing this with someone else who is your equal, okay? And you could also be coming into a new relationship, some of you, okay? But yeah, oh my gosh, the world, like when I said that, there's like 2 heads of the same. And to me, this represents the divine androgyne, the inner balance, the inner harmony, the inner union, and the union with source as well. And worldly success that comes afterwards. And potentially a partnership, if that's what you want, if you feel like you're open to that. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, an emotional harmony, an emotional union. Possibly between 2 fire signs, okay? This is for Earth, they're saying. Whoa, okay. This could come as a surprise to you. A bit of, like, this is growth obstacles on the way to, like, victory, salvation. Okay, that's kind of what's manifesting right now. But it's not bad. I'm seeing that again, the universe has said everything that has led you up to this point has prepared you for this, okay? Oh my goodness, okay, right as we're saying that though, we have the 3 of Swords. What element is this, Spirit? Okay, so this is Aether. And that can mean that you're going through a deeper spiritual healing that's actually brought on by your higher self to address grief that's been sitting there for so long to where you've kind of like, yeah, death, exactly. You may have lost someone recently. Someone may have traversed to the spiritual realm. Okay, my dear, but this is a part of your awakening process. You're probably so seasoned at this that you already know. And this is for what you're being guided to do, how you're being guided to act. So remember when I said to communicate about work? This feels like you are going to be working in league with someone, again, who is your equal, maybe someone from your past. It could have been a childhood friend, a family member. And once again, the fly is buzzing. Do not allow yourself to be distracted by the little things here. This is about appreciation. This is about, again, soul union, a union of soulmates, a soul pair, and justice. Justice. When I said and justice, it almost sounded like injustice. Saying the soul contract that you're prepared to address during this Capricorn moon is like the officiation of something, of contracts, of, okay, this is what we're agreeing to do. It could be a business partnership. 1111, I think this is going to go smoothly for you, but you just have to be very like open to the fact that it can. It could be intense, but that doesn't mean that it won't go well, okay? Don't confuse intensity, especially through your healing process, for chaos and calamity. Things are not what they seem. Under the surface, the two of you are working in this together, on a soul level, working in this together. It is not only a healing experience, it is an awakening experience. If this resonated with you, make sure to check out down below where I've listed my website, keyofwisdomtarot.com. You can book a discovery session with me to receive this exact spread. And if you really enjoyed it, you could even make a donation to support the channel. You could subscribe if you're not a subscriber yet. And make a comment. Let me know what resonated with you. And whatever it is that you're doing here, I feel God in it. And you know that. Be blessed. Pile 2, welcome. It was 12:22 on my timer right as I began your video here, your reading. And the feeling that I got was, whoa, it seems like you've been through some crazy stuff, Pile 2, recently. Though Spirit is telling me, and you may have been getting messages about this too, that this crazy stuff you've been going through has strengthened you. And it's strengthened you to the point of what? To become magnetic. Okay, because this right here, this stone represents magnetism, as it is a lodestone. Okay, LODE. And this is a stone that attracts luck. It's really great for manifestation if you ever want to use it in kind of like an energetic talisman, right? Where you set an intention and those intentions become sort of programmed into the stone. The universe can communicate to you through these things. And sounds like you already know that kind of thing. You're familiar. And, you know, I'm also hearing that when you become more magnetic, when you become more attractive, there's a whole initiation process, okay? You're going to have to appreciate that when you draw things into yourself, right? When you magnetize experiences and there's lots of people around you, it's not all going to be wanted. You have to learn how to set boundaries. There are going to be people who become jealous of what they see happening with you. Wow, why do you get to be so magnetic, right? What do I have to do to be like that, right? So people can either learn from you and alchemize themselves, or they can be operating from their unconscious. Okay, so that's what Spirit has to tell for the introduction. That it's like, okay, if you've been going through an initiation, it's because you're becoming more magnetic. You're learning how to manage this. And so it's a great thing, even if it doesn't feel like it is. Sort of feeling like you don't even necessarily want to know what's coming. You're like, surprise me, you know what I mean? And so we're going to look at your energetic potential for past, present, and future. And yes, you can even shift the energy of your past right? And this card represents you, so we're going to save that. They're saying don't save it, flip it. Okay, interesting. You're making exponential progress here. Family. So it could be that you're in a family business, or that you're taking care of elders, or that you're living with your family, or that you are doing healing around family matters, right? You might be even seeing fractals of ancestral patterning in your circumstances. You may be recognizing the core of ancestral wounds and alchemizing through them. Let's look here. Okay, we have health. Fantastic. So it feels like you went through an attunement and alignment recently. You could have even had Reiki done, or started a program of some kind, done a cleanse, or just had a greater focus on your health. And when this happened, you were forced to look at the whole topic. You know, it could be that you've had family members who were unhealthy, and you've had to see them kind of go through their despair, is what I was feeling around that. But you want to cleanse yourself as a result. You're like, I know what my family's patterns can be, and so I'm going to call on my inner solar light. You know, there could be an emphasis on digestion here. There could be an emphasis on the stomach, what you've had to stomach, what you've been able to stomach, right? You might have even been feeling nausea at certain points, and Spirit is saying, yes, transmute. It's transmuting. Ooh, distance. So you could be at a distance with certain family members, or you could be wanting distance from certain family members because the process of this is intense, but you know, you still want to be able to send them good energy, send them love from afar with certain family members. And with others who may be around you, you just kind of need your own time to be by yourself, to feel a healthy amount of autonomy here. So that might mean, yeah, that you need to spend more time on your own, and that if you're around people frequently, that it can, I mean, this is different for everyone. This is very specific, but yeah, if you need time on your own, take that time. Spirit is saying, like, you need to shield yourself from external influence, especially if it feels like you have family members kind of like breathing down your neck, or if there have been people around you who remind you of your family members. I almost said me. Goodness gracious. Because I've had this experience too. I understand what it's like to see your inner patterns reflected externally, and for it to feel almost so intense and visceral that it's difficult to really process it all, right? Process it in a healthy way. So now you're learning to process these things in a healthy way. Oh, light switch. Check it out. You got 2 sacred symbols here. So really, in the future, all this energy is going to be organized by spirit, organized by your soul, right? And that's going to take on a completely different feeling, right? It's going to feel like, wow, that all just happened on my behalf. Like, I just saw 1819 on the clock. So you go from a sense of like, I don't know what to do, to being like, I do know what to do, right? There's not that intense stress behind it anymore. Okay, let's check out your tarot. This stack here is the Hermetic Tarot. Whoa, okay, the Blasted Tower, honey. There's been some difficult energies, perhaps in communication within your family or with the people around you recently, or a situation ended quickly because of communication, because this is the air element. Or you could have realized something. You could have been like, oh my God, it's really intense. What do I do about that? But this was the circumstance. These 3, they're saying. So this card as well. Ooh, all right. Yeah, you're breaking through poverty programs is what I'm seeing, because like it could be that the people around you were trying to discourage you with King of Cups. Like they could have been hiding how they really felt about you. And that's tough. Like, it's, you know, to have someone be cold towards you or have a stone face. Some of these people are generous with you, but at the same time, weren't giving you the full picture, weren't giving you the full story. Some of them may have even been dishonest. Others just preferred to keep to themselves and, you know, saw that as the mature thing to do. You could have been keeping to yourself. And so That was the karma. That was what needed to happen. Because there could have been some financial stress or health issues, like I said before. And with that comes tension. And you're not trying to, yeah, I just flipped to the Queen of Cups. This is like either in a couple, 2 water signs, or, you know, I'm specifically getting Scorpio energy here. For some of you, it's Aries energy because of Mars right there. But here we have the Ace of Swords, communication, right? A communication might have happened about these things. And you were just kind of like, oh, dang. The duplicity was revealed. Also, I'm hearing like whoever was being duplicitous, whether it was you or someone else, if you held back and then you started to say something, it might have caused a tower moment. Just because it's like, with truth is the realization of both the wanted and the unwanted. These two for your emotions. The Nine of Cups, though, this was definitely necessary because we have the Nine of Cups and the Queen of Cups. This was necessary for your happiness. Okay, Lord of Material Happiness. This was it's material as well. So it's saying to shift your vibration, to shift your ancestral codes is what I'm just hearing. You needed to self-care. This was all about your self-care. Okay, and so you need to not feel guilty about what was said. You are love, Queen of Cups. And yeah, the Hermit. Okay, so taking some time to yourself, taking some distance. This is what is needed right now. Knight of Swords, though, instead, this is between you and God. I just heard. This is between you and God. And that particular sentiment is around moving in silence. Right? Communicating, receiving message from the source so that you can become magnetic to receive your desires. And this is the light switch, okay? This is when your light switch goes on. I'm going to get a guidance card for you to end your reading here. This is Angel of the Day, Angel of the Shemham Farash, or the Zodiacal Wheel. This is from Kabbalah. Ooh, interesting. Mikhail, curiosity is its own reward. A journey will be safe and productive. Ooh, so Spirit's trying to tell you to be curious so that they can tell you, like, okay, you're about to go on a journey. You may be actually physically traveling, or you may be going on an astral journey. It's probably both, you know, because if your energy is shifting, if you're breaking through limitations, if you're stepping into happiness, right? That is its own reward, right? You don't have to wait to feel good about your progress. You are enough. You have done enough. And Spirit is sealing the deal. I just heard, whatever it is, you're going to be making a deal, perhaps signing something, in 5 months. Something about this is going to be a step-by-step process, but it's going to be worth it because you need all the downloads first. You need all of the intuitive guidance first, right? It's the thing that builds on itself, whatever this is. All right, my dear. Thank you for coming to this sacred space with me. And if you would like to book a session, you can go to keyofwisdomtarot.com, or you can look in the description because the link is there. And you can get this exact same spread, the 5-element spread, by booking a discovery session with me. If you enjoyed the reading and you want to donate, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and be blessed. My dear Pile 3, welcome. This stone is a tiger's eye. You probably know. But what it represents, right, is it represents your inner masculine energy, which is interesting because, you know, the tiger is highly associated with the divine feminine, you know, Durga, for example, or Uriel. So it has a connection to Earth. It has a connection to your inner personal power, everything that's happening right now. And your dynamic energy, your dynamic life force. So you could feel like a sensation within your body of wanting to move and wanting to do things, but not necessarily knowing where to direct your energy, right? You could be having like a surge of Kundalini and then being like, Okay, how do I put this into practice? And it could have been that way for a while. You could have been making sure that you were taking action from a holy place. This requires your alignment, okay? So that's what I'm hearing is like, okay, it's all about alignment, baby, attunement, sweetheart. They're they're kind of, I don't know why they're speaking this way, almost like babying you. This could be ancestors. This could be, you just need to know that, like, if you want to receive the princess treatment, I don't know, like some of you are, you know, queer. I'm just kidding. This is not in a bad way, but if you're not, this is like you are secure with your masculine energy. You're secure with your feminine energy, regardless of how you identify. You hold a seed, or you hold a lot of the opposite frequency within you, and you're fine with that because that's part of your attunement and alignment. A sort of a neutral dynamic flowing frequency of gender energies or sexuality. Yeah, interesting. Wow, that's very specific. For some of you, this is just embracing a different side of yourself, a different aspect of yourself. You're just like, okay, I'm excited. And that's what this card is about, okay? Ooh, meditation. Look, okay, so you're coming into a phase of enlightenment. And when I say a phase, it's like I see these things as happening in phases where your connection with source is more solidified. Ascended master energies could be very important to you. You could be channeling Christ consciousness, Christ codes, if you will. This is a vibrational attunement and alignment. I'm seeing the red flower down here, Malkuth. It's a manifestation of the kingdom, okay? The kingdom being the will of source consciousness, the will of the Most High, organizing itself through you. Being a conduit, divine conduit. I love that. That's so amazing. That's so good. That's why your frequency was dynamic instead of being masculine or feminine, because Christ consciousness is a divine child. Okay, it's the union within. Some of you could have been really interested for a long time in twin flame things, or could still be very interested in that. My perspective on that is pretty widely known by now, that I focus on inner union above all things. Let's look at the past, present, future, because I just have a feeling that it has something to do with that. 27 on the clock, okay? Let's check this out. Ooh, master of a trade. Okay, all right. So you really have been mastering a trade. It's interesting because, like, I wasn't going to pull a tarot card yet, but they're having me pull a tarot card specifically for this. Okay, so whatever was your trade, okay? Judgment. You walked away. You made a judgment call. You could have really mastered a skill or a trade and then been just like, no. Or you're changing the way that you feel about what you do. You're changing the way that you approach it because you need to come at it from a more enlightened perspective, okay? And that's just the star. That's part of your healing. But you could be, for some of you, you want to be famous. You already know you're going to be famous. Something like that. You already know you're a public figure. And that is definitely a good thing because we need more. Yeah, the rising sun. Okay. For some of you, Japan is significant. I just got, because of the Reiki cards, because of it's the land of the rising sun. The East could be very significant for you. Eastern traditions, Eastern philosophies. Really specific information coming through for you. So you're the person who literally scrolls through these readings and you don't need any time to decide what reading is yours. You're just like, that's my reading. You just always know. So yeah, super hyper intuitive here. And they're telling me to keep this card out, okay? And I know you're not going to take this the wrong way, because you're all about the ascension. You understand the mysticism. The morning star, as a mythology, Lucifer, star of the morning, Venus, star of the morning. Those things could be significant to what you're doing right now, because you could be subverting a paradigm within that. Understanding that Luciferian energy is also the Prometheus myth of stealing fire from the gods. It's a representation of the human spirit. Okay, we contain within our vessel the fire of the gods, source consciousness, but we deliberately forget who we are. so that later on we can remember. So maybe you're here to help people to remember, okay, through whatever it is that you do. It may not be directly mystical, but it could be a very public thing. And for some of you, it's like public art installation. This. Ooh, female. Interesting. We were talking about gender energies, and we have female twice. And then we have this masculine energy here. So I'm kind of like getting you really identified for a long time as a divine feminine. And then we have the world, and I always see the dog in the center as the Sophia. But this could also be Hecate. This could, with the white dog, right? I got to say, some of you work with Kal Bhairav, and that's an avatar of Shiva, who is the wrathful protector of divine feminine energy. All right. So some of you need to understand too, your path is related to Ma Kali or Durga, or, you know, this Shakti and Shiva union of opposites. And this has to do with that. Oh, worry not. Some of you are worried about your counterpart, or you're worried about, gosh, you're worried about ever being in a relationship. You're afraid that people can't meet you at your level or something like that. It's lonely at the top. So part of the reason why you're not transcending is because you fear that you're going to be lonely if you get too high of a level. It's why you're maybe holding on to some of your fears, okay? With the 9 of Wands and the 4 of Pentacles. You're like, God, I've been through so much shit. Who is really going to want me? Gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that, babe. I really want you to realize, because this is in the quote future position. This isn't, when these feelings come up inevitably again, you're being guided to not worry about it, okay? It's clearing. It's a form of clearing. You've mastered this. You've probably mastered so many things by now that if this comes up again, this is your clearing. It's the pathway forward. Okay? All right. So they're telling me to not take these cards off the table, because this is part of it, is like part of moving through the gateway is to not be afraid to face this aspect of yourself, the part of you that transmutes, alchemizes. Okay? So let's make room for your tarot cards, baby. Yeah, some of y'all want to be playful again. But there's something you sense. You're just like, okay, I sense that healing is something I need to do right now because I'm mastering myself. Or you're mastering an aspect of your life that's very important to you. This is what's going on in your mind, okay? Ooh, 10 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, that card kept wanting to come out. It's like, if you're needing to heal around family things, or around the sort of American dream I'm hearing, or something, if you're not in America, it could just be like a sort of idealized version of life, where you feel like, I've mastered so much, how come my life doesn't look like XYZ? It's like, you feel like you're not meeting some kind of expectation or whatever. This is not what your life is for. Okay? Oh, man. It's not that you won't have these things, okay? Some of you are ready to be like, F you, Vivian, and click right off. But 3333, as I'm saying this, you stayed because you were like, yeah, I know. God, I know. But what is my life for? Okay? You are the rainbow bridge, babe. You're the rainbow bridge. You are a harmonizer of energies, of influences, I just heard. With the Tower on the bottom of the deck, with Judgment, with Ace of Wands reversed, Ace of Swords reversed. Clarity. Okay? And for some of you, the clarity that you're seeking comes with awakening. And you need to allow your Kundalini to rise, or to build, your vitality to build again. It could be very much that you need some time to just let your vitality build. And then your perfect life, your actual perfect life will come into clarity. Your actual way of being will come. And 3434, I'm just saying, I'm seeing you readying yourself for a change. That it doesn't have to be so intense. It doesn't have to be hard. right? They want me to pull an advice card from this Angel of the Day because it has directly to do with that, okay? These are the Angels of the Shemham Farash. You can read about them in this 72 Archangels by Damon Brand. This is the book that I use. And it's great. All right. What do we have? Manakel. Contain your anger today and don't get worked up. It's not a big deal anyway. Ooh, that sounded condescending, Manakel. Just kidding. Something that has felt very important to you is what I'm getting. Something that's felt very important. The universe is trying to tell you, like, perhaps you've put too much importance on certain things that aren't truly, in the long run, going to make a huge difference because you go through so much change that it's like the things that you've been trying to cling to for a sense of stability, it's like a false sense of security. Right? That might be why you're getting worked up, is because you're like, I just want to feel like XYZ. And like, I want to feel this sense of security. I want to be able to save up or something. It's like the universe is saying, for some of you, literally the universe is your bank account. You don't need to save a damn thing because your needs will always be provided for. Ah, man, that's hard for some of you to hear. Because you could be saving for a specific thing. You could be wondering, well, where's the money going to come for this very specific thing? And you're being guided to remember, oh, the Ascended Masters have it for you. Literally, they're holding it in the universe's bank account. And so even if you can't see it in like actual numbers or physical notes, the frequency is there for you. And there is a reason why they're not handing it to you right now, is potentially because you haven't fully aligned with your true purpose, your true nature, something to that effect. Eight of Wands is saying you're either going to get a communication soon coming in, because this is for the material circumstances, or you're just going to be experiencing a lot of changes very soon, okay, during this full moon in Capricorn. Fundamental, foundational changes. And this doesn't have to be like a move. Let's see. Spirit, is this a move? Are they going to move? Knight of Wands says you could be going on a trip. Also with Knight of Cups, you could be just changing the way that you do things, letting go of what isn't working, and setting good boundaries for yourself in some situation, your career, your relationships, especially with your family. You're like, okay, something needs to change, because your sense of security needs to come from your relationship with Source, not with external manifestations. Because why? Because you're the origin, because you're the root. Spirit wants you to understand that. And then they want to do another advice card. You're getting lots of advice cards. Every pile's a little different, you know. Sitael. Can you tell the truth all day? Try out an exercise of telling the truth. Yeah, okay. You need to assert your boundaries somewhere. It's important. And it's around something that's important to you. This is potentially what you are worried about, or what you need to not worry about. Okay, dear? And so, look, this too shall pass. Okay, because I'm just hearing in the energy of this particular song that Spirit chose for you, that you're like, fuck, why? And the reason why is because you're meant to solidify what you truly believe in, what you truly want, and to know that Spirit can and will give it to you. But that it's not going to come if you're in a place of needing to prove yourself to others, because then you would just give it all away. You would give people the world. That's the truth. You would give it all away if you got it right now, is what I'm hearing. Because you want everybody else to be happy. You don't want anybody else to suffer. You're like, I will suffer. I don't care. I don't want you to suffer. But you need to learn, Spirit is saying, you need to learn how to not allow yourself to suffer, to value yourself more, to have your own boundaries first, okay? Because you feel some emotions coming up right now, and it could be around your worth. It could be around needing to organize certain things in your life, I just need to get my life together. I need comfort. I need stability. And universe is kind of like saying that it might come from you not expecting so much of yourself, or giving yourself away so much, that you can actually retain your vitality and your energy and your life force. And this will then manifest experiences, right, of you receiving. Six of Pentacles, receiving. That's kind of what's on the bottom of the deck. What do we got for Mars energy? Mars energy, baby. Or not Mars energy. Sorry, this is the 5 element spread. Fire. Okay, interesting, because you're meant to meditate now on what you really want. 9 of Cups is also a receiving energy. So they're kind of saying, look, like now might not be the time to act for you. But when it is the time to act, you'll have plenty of fire. You'll have plenty of excitement. You'll be ready. Right? They're saying put your fire towards the right things. They're saying not this, but show it anyway. Don't lean too much on like, I wonder if you watch a lot of tarot readings or something like that. I mean, I do. I love tarot. It's my passion. Obviously, I make tarot readings. I do tarot readings for myself. And then I watch them too, because there's a sense of comfort there. They're kind of saying this, it might be time for you to do more of visualizing yourself living in the end, or turning your passions towards the things that really light you up, and doing so slowly, right? To not over focus on security, what's going to bring security for you and your family, because if you already, the Spirit is saying, like, they already know this, but I'm going to remind them, if you already were secure, you wouldn't be constantly thinking about the next thing to feel more secure, right? You would be thinking about, what kind of art do I want to do today? Or what kind of fun activity or trip do I want to go on? You know, where in the world do I want to travel to? Maybe you want to play a game. There's so many things, 4141, that if you focus on these things, right, the devil in reverse, don't worry about how other people are going to see it, your reputation or whatever. It's your life. Because if you live your life for others, then your reputation will be like, I'm going to say this with love and care. Your reputation will be as a people pleaser. And people won't consciously say this about you perhaps, but they'll be like, oh yeah, she'll do whatever. She's cool or she's chill, you know, but then in reality, it's like you're hurting. You don't want to hurt yourself for the sake of others is what Spirit is saying. And that is why maybe you haven't manifested your money yet, because you would just be like, okay, now I can be the hero for everybody else. It's like, no. Spirit is building up your sense of like, you are the keeper of the balance. Yes, but that doesn't mean that you are responsible for everybody else's happiness. Okay? And that's why you need to not worry about things that aren't coming right away, because Spirit is saying you need to learn how to live for yourself first. That's number one priority. Yeah, 8 of Cups, 4 of Cups. In meditation, you will be shown 2 cards about meditation. In meditation, you will be shown there is a 2 of Cups here. So I'm kind of getting that in meditation, you're going to be guided towards relationships that are fulfilling. The Empress. Yeah. And also people who will treat you the way you're meant to be treated. All right. Value you the way that you're meant to be valued. I love you. Okay. This was a pretty intense message. And I hope that wherever you are, you're breathing, you're holding your heart, you're syncing up with yourself. You're saying, okay, yeah, I understand, Vivian. It's not about me trying to look good for others, you know? And I want you to deeply internalize this message. I need you to deeply understand that your energy is valuable, it's worth something, and you need to protect it. All right, that's the last message. And if you want a reading, head to the description. My website is keyofwisdomtarot.com. I have a special introductory offer for those of you who have never had a reading with me. It's called Discovery Session. So click the link in the description to check that out. And my heart is with you, dear. I look forward to meeting you if you book with me. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe, because I'm going to be posting more readings like this. It's kind of like my return to YouTube. So yay. Help me to celebrate with a comment and a like. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.